somehow a guy had found some of my work that I'd done in my master's, and he really liked what I'd done in terms of lighting design, and he wanted me to design some stuff for his house.
Yeah.
So I got this really awesome job that was designing lights for this guy's massive house. So I was just really lucky to be able to do that and have that as part of my portfolio, and have a kind of side job while I was working at Fisher & Paykel. That kind of allowed me to then get another job, which was with Cheetah, the furniture and lighting company, which was kind of another side job. So that was this AB pendant here. That was, again, it was a really cool project where there was no parts, like existing parts that I had to design around. Dave Moreland, the head designer at Cheetah, he said, like, you can pretty much, we kind of want to design from the ground up and have something that's really special. So we spent like 2 years designing that light there. So I did that on the side while I was working at Fisher & Paykel. And I think that kind of allowed me to, I guess, be a little bit more recognized within the lighting industry. And then it got to a point where the jobs that I was getting, it was getting too busy for me to work at Fisher & Paykel and do a side hustle of lighting at the same time. So I kind of had to make a decision whether I kind of cut it off completely and I concentrated on my job at Fisher & Paykel, which I loved. It was an awesome job, and the designers there are like amazing. I learned so much while I was there, but I had this opportunity to kind of go out by myself and do something really interesting. And so I decided to do that, and it's been great so far. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. How did the first person who saw the concept work that you did in your master's, how did he find your work initially?
I think he just found it online. So the work I did through my master's, I then kind of developed that into a more commercial light that I could sell, and then that I entered that in the Best Awards, and I think it got a bronze or something like that. And I think he found it through that possibly, he was just keen for me to do a whole lot of bespoke lights for him, and it was just pure luck, to be honest. I was just really lucky to get that first job, which kind of allowed me to snowball effect and do a whole lot more jobs. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, what was that the kind of 3D printed?
Correct. Yeah.
Lights?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I think when we were coming up at design school, 3D printing was kind of this big new, technological way of in every period of design, there seemed to be new manufacturing technologies, new materials that designers get to kind of harness for the first time, whether it's like steam bent wood or tubular steel or anodizing and things like that. And I think for us, one of the main things was like 3D printing and CNC. I'd just like it'd be cool to get a little bit of knowledge from you about working with these 20th century cutting edge materials. Well,
I guess the idea behind that whole colony was called the Colony Chandelier, and then the Colony Cluster as well. The whole idea behind that kind of fractal geometry type design was the fact that I wanted to design something that could pretty much only be made on a 3D printer. So I did have an issue around 3D printing that people were using it to create things that could be made on a CNC lathe or a milling machine or by hand, and there was just this kind of a lot of people designing stuff that was 3D printed just for the sake of it being 3D printed, and a lot of the time it's not the fastest
or the most efficient
the most efficient manufacturing process by any means. So I kind of wanted to explore how could you use 3D printing in a way that was like novel and that used like, that it took advantage of the actual of the manufacturing process. So yeah, I wanted to create this design that was really intricate and really difficult to make in any other way. And that's kind of how I came about with that.